Hey everybody, Vivian here with a video tutorial as a guest design team member for Faber-Castell Design Memory Craft. I have here a card project. It's been a while since I've done a really dimensional, very floral card, so I thought it was about time. I used to great extent in this project the Papercrafter crayons that have recently become available. There are 3 sets of Papercrafter crayons available, and you can acquire them through the Faber-Castell Design Memory Craft website, and they come in reds and yellows, greens and blues, I believe, and then a neutral set. And the reds and yellows includes oranges, and the greens and blues, I believe, include some purples. I have them all, and they're really great fun to play around with. I use them to create these lace cap hydrangea florets, and I also use them to punch up the embossing, dry embossing that I did on my background papers. Aren't they beautiful? I love the barrel in which they're housed and how cleanly they are accessible by just twisting the barrel. You push the crayon upwards. And you can use them also dry. I noticed on a previous blog post from my teammate Katie, she had used them dry to decorate a little fabric bag. It just turned out really, really cute. So here I'm taking a piece of Coordination's Color Core cardstock in a gray color. I'm just crushing it up. I'm interested in all of those little ridges that are created from all the crushing. Once we've got the paper all smoothed out again, we're going to use the Papercrafter crayons wet. And this is a little mini iron from Clover, one of the very talented regular designers on the Faber-Castell Design Memory Craft team. Had a video shown on the blog maybe a couple of months ago showing how to incorporate this iron with the Papercrafter crayons. And it's really, really fun. So here I am using the Papercrafter crayons, just laying on a thin layer. First I heat up that Clover mini iron, and the pigment goes on there nice and smooth. And I want to get all of this waxy color onto my cardstock, and with a special density on the raised ridges of my wrinkled papers. I'm using colors that you might see typically on hydrangea bushes. They're often pink or blue depending on the acidity or alkalinity of your soil. There are also some new hybrids that, one of which I picked up, which is called an Incredible hydrangea, that initially is a light lime green and matures to a white. So I'm very excited for that to arrive and grow in a shady nook in my garden. But here I'm going with the standard colors, the pinks and the blues. I added in some purples and some white to lighten things up a little bit. And the beauty of these Papercrafter crayons used in this fashion is that soft sheen that comes from using something waxy like that. Here I have a piece of black cardstock from Coordinations, and I wanted to use black, create a little bit of drama for my background paper. I dry embossed using an embossing folder from the Paper Studio that I recently picked up. And this is color core, so if you sand it a little bit, you reveal a little bit of the color underneath. And it really makes those embossed shapes and patterns pop. The reason I wanted to use black was because these Papercrafter crayons sit on top of the surface of whatever you're working on. So they work really well with dark colored cardstock because they sit on top and they're translucent, almost opaque, and they really show up well on a dark paper surface. I wanted to make a square card today, so I just sliced that right down the middle of that beautiful damask pattern, and I'm going to arrange those on either side of a 5 1/4 inch square card. I'm also going to take some licorice gelato to distress the edges of my cut pieces. So this is what they look like so far. Isn't that gorgeous? So elegant, that damask pattern embossed into the black cardstock and then sanded away with some aging along the edges, simply using a black gelato. So I thought I'd take it up one more notch and emphasize that embossing just a little bit more and go over the embossed raised surfaces with the Papercrafter crayon in a silver color. So once those pieces are done, our use of the Papercrafter crayons is pretty much done for the rest of the video. Now we just want to alter and paper punch our pieces. So this is a Martha Stewart ornament punch. I chose this punch to purchase actually because of its very versatile shape. And I actually just used it in a recent video to create just a couple of blooms with scraps that I had used for another project. So you want to punch as many of those out of this one 6x6 piece of paper as possible. Those created enough for my card front. And once those are all punched, we start hot gluing them down in 4s to create our little lace cap hydrangea florets. To add some more textural interest, I wrapped my card in some black organza, and I used a heat tool on it to get it to warp and add some another dose of interesting texture to your card project. So can you see that? So that's just going to peek out from the blooms that we're just about to adhere. But I just love how it curls like that. So we're going to take these pieces. I actually sanded some of the areas, you can see it on that one, that didn't have the Papercrafter crayon for a little bit more variegation in the petal. Let's see if you can see that. There you go. And so we're going to arrange it in 4s and hot glue them down and bend them so that they curl upward at the tips a little bit. And adhere them down onto your project, whatever that is. So here they're all down, and I chose some little beautiful translucent pink gems to go in the centers of each flower. And here's my final card, a really beautiful surprise that happened in working on this project. Heating it up with the heat tool, with that little mini iron, and using the Papercrafter crayons, actually teased apart the layers of the paper. And for my project, that was just a wonderful thing. So once I noticed that happening, I just did it all over. And it added this beautiful dose of frill. And what were once single blooms are now double blooms. I also paper punched some black leaves and curled them with a bone folder and shoved them in the spaces to create a little bit of extra texture and also to support the delicate petals and keep them propped up. And here's my final card project. It's a very different effect than, let's say, shimmery mists. It's got a sheen that's due to the waxy consistency of the Papercrafter crayons, and I was really pleased with the results. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I had so much fun preparing it and sharing it with you. If you haven't gotten enough inspiration, please visit me at my blog. That's www.contadinak.com. And my channel on YouTube is Contadina K. Thanks again for watching, and see you next time. Bye.